Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Record. Today I have the honor to have an exclusive interview with the music producer from Denver, Nikki Rowland. Nikki, welcome to Record.
Tell me, can you feel it? Feel it, baby, can you feel it? Tell me, can you feel it? Feel it.
Hi Sarah, first of all, a huge thank you for having me on the show. I really appreciate that. So I guess we'll get started.
How did your musical journey begin and what key moment led you to electronic music?
So my musical journey started pretty early on in life. My mum was really well connected in the jazz world. My dad was a drummer, singer and guitarist. And, music has always been there. But when I was 14, Patrick Meads, the owner of Big One Records, he was formerly at Trojan, got me in the studio with Pinky and Longsy D, starting to produce the first track that I ever worked on. That never really came to fruition, but a few years later, a friend of mine came over with a little cheap Casio keyboard and we started making some grooves. I had a little 4-track mixer and a couple of decks I was putting some beats together on. And we started making some music. After that, I kind of got into the studio, paid for studio time and started producing my first tracks. Actually got myself signed to a major who promptly shelved me to get me out of the way because I was competing potentially with some of the other stuff they had in their stable. It was for a Christmas release, and in the UK that is hugely coveted. It's really probably one of the biggest musical events that you can get.
You produce house music, techno and drum and bass, 3 very different styles. What inspired you to move between the styles?
I love jumping between genres. I don't like the pigeonholing of music. I think people are trying to put things into ever narrower categories. And especially with house, it kind of gets really kind of ridiculous because there's so much crossover between the different styles of house. Something like, house versus drum and bass, they are, they have a big crowbar separation between the two. They're very, very different, even though they have a lot of shared roots. But for a lot of the genres of house, it really doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, the whole point with house was the fact that you could mix in just about any kind of genre. And in the early days, people would experiment with just about anything. So for me, hopping between genres is kind of a throwback to that, when, you would try different things. You tried something new. I mean, that's how we have gotten to this point when we've got all these different, subgenres and things like that because of the experimentation. So I love the experimentation. I like playing around with different sounds and just seeing where that leads me.
You founded Ananke and Kronos Records. What was your vision when creating these labels? What makes the identity or philosophy of your label unique compared to other electronic labels?
My vision for Ananke and Kronos is a pretty simple one. I wanted to make a label that actually tries to help artists and is a label for artists by artists. Having been messed around by labels in the past numerous times, I got disenchanted with the music industry for a long time, and it was only about 7 or 8 years ago my dad was going through some health problems that I got back into the music again, and that really kind of led me to where I am now. I was lucky enough to get signed by DJ International, and that kind of helped really kickstart things, but nobody was really doing what I wanted in terms of helping me get out there, getting the marketing and the promotion done, helping me build traction with the DJ community. So I decided to set up Ananke and Kronos, and obviously I've been doing that for myself ever since. And now I'm starting to bring on other artists. There's a bunch of collaborations on the label, but now I'm starting to sign, other artists. I've launched a sub-label called Ananke and Kronos Black, which is focusing on tech house and techno.
Are there any artists or producers who have deeply influenced you?
Artists and producers that have influenced me, it's really hard to answer because there are so many. I mean, I love everything from, the Specials, the Police, absolutely goes without saying. People like Stevie Wonder, all the people like the Last Poets. I mean, they are really kind of unsung. There'd be no hip hop without the Last Poets. But in terms of house and stuff like that and techno, Juan Atkins, Model 500, really has been a huge influence on me musically. You can't always tell it, but it's in there. And then obviously people like Marshall Jefferson and Frankie Knuckles and stuff like that obviously play a big part as well.
How do you see the future of the electronic scene, especially with AI tools?
The future of the music industry with the advent of AI is very hard to predict, but personally I see a backlash coming against the use of AI tools. There are a lot of artists that say that they can be helpful for certain things. Like for instance, I use mastering tools that use AI to help with the build the mastering chain. And something like that, in my mind, I think that's fine. But when you start writing songs just using AI, you're not really creating anything other than writing a prompt. And I'm sorry, that's not making music, in my mind, at least. And I think you're going to have a fairly big backlash against it, certainly within the music community, and I think eventually the public as well. I mean, we see this already with advertising and other aspects of AI content generation. And it's a loaded thing because AI content generation can be fantastic as an artist to help you build out your assets. In fact, I've just launched an AI content generation platform for press releases, social media snippets, cover art generation, Spotify playlist swaps and stuff like that. It's called ANC Promo, ancpromo.com, short for A and C Promo. But yeah, that uses AI, but I'm trying to do it in a way that is respectful and is really built to helping artists, promote and market themselves.
In your opinion, what makes a very powerful track?
A powerful track to me is something that moves me. Makes me want to dance, but really something that can hit me emotionally. That's really the true power of music, something that can make you feel something, that can either elevate you, depending on the mood that you want. If you want something that's going to drive you and give you energy, if you want something that, fits when you're in an angry mood or when you want to be happy, when you're feeling down. That's really the beauty of music. And good music is always going to kind of hit somewhere in your heart. It's going to trigger something. Dance music for me is just what makes me want to get up and move. If there's a track, a song that I can't sit still to, that I'm going to at least be tapping my toes on my fingers, then this is something that's got a groove and it's going to make you want to dance.
Many producers today work fully digital. What role do analog gear or real instruments still play in your sound?
So my workflow is pretty much entirely digital. I use a couple of different DAWs. I use Reason and Logic. Really depends what I'm kind of in the mood for. I have obviously some outboard equipment like a keyboard or two and a mixing console. But other than that, everything is all done digitally using mouse and keyboard, and really that's it. The keyboard is used just for playing in notes that I'll then sequence. I would love to have a bunch of analog gear, but space is always limited, in London at least. When I was in the States it was a little easier. But places are definitely a lot smaller here, so that's a limitation of space. But Also, I think just the convenience of being able to have everything in a digital workspace really helps.
Which one of your own release is the most meaningful to you and why?
So I worked on a track recently with a lady out of Baltimore called Tanya Louise. She kind of hit it pretty big in the 90s and has been producing and singing house tracks ever since. She was working with DJ Blaine on a track called It's All House, and DJ Blaine did a really good banging mix of of that track. But one of the missed opportunities I felt was, the track is talking about all the various different genres of house, and essentially calling them out and saying, no, it's all house. You can call it whatever you want, but it's all house. And that's something that really resonated to me because it really kind of touches on my philosophy and my view of house music. And I wanted to do something where I leveraged the genres in the track. So the core element of the track is a kind of classic Chicago house, piano house track with some deep house piano vibes and stuff like that, very jazzy. And as she calls out different genres of music, ranging from trap to acid house to, it starts off with trance, then acid, then trap, then dubstep. The music reflects those genres, so it jumps into musical elements of those genres and always resolves back into this deep Chicago groove and does it really seamlessly. So that was a lot of fun for me. And really it means a lot to me because it ties into my philosophy and where I'm at as a producer as well.
What can we expect from you 2026? New projects, collaboration, or a new track?
So as to what to expect from me, as I mentioned, I just launched ancpromo.com. So that is one focus, and I'm going to be looking for investors, trying to build out this platform. Also looking for partners, so if anybody is interested in partnering with us, be sure to DM me on social media. New collaborations, there's quite a lot in the pipeline. There's some more collaborations with Angie B. We've got a really cool disco track on the way. I've got a soulful Afro house collaboration coming with Sinclair. I've got a Latin house, very jazzy Latin house collaboration coming up with Roydon Vigilance, a release coming up with DJ Booth. DJ Booth is an old friend of mine. He's one of the core Coalesce DJs, and he's actually one of the first UK DJs to tour in Brazil. Absolutely phenomenal DJ, but hadn't broken out into producing yet, so this is his debut. And he'll be obviously releasing a number of tracks on the label just as him. Obviously I'm doing this first one as a collab with him. We also have another act joining on Ananke and Kronos Black. And we have about 10 releases lined up with these guys. So I will leave that hanging as a question for you guys to figure out what that is, but watch the space, check the socials, check out the anankeandkronos.com website, and you will find out more.
Thank you so much, Nikki, for this exclusive interview, and I wish you a beautiful day.
Thanks again, Sarah. Really appreciate you having me on the show.